I sold 2 of them. I'm going to pat you on the back when you did 2.
All right.
Put that, pat you on the back. It's coming out nice and loud. Thank you. All good. Thank you.
Back in a minute and a half.
Halftime here at Garden Spot High School. It's a 6-point lead for the Spartans, 27-21 over Cocalico. Eric Thomas and Andy Herr with you here tonight. Reminder again, our final regular season game comes your way next Friday night. It's Cedar Crest and McCaskey from the Falcon Cage. And tonight, across the LL, Cedar Crest locked up in an important matchup with Hempfield. And that is all Hempfield right now. 52-33 that game right now. What else we got going on here tonight that sticks out to you score-wise?
Well, score-wise, we were just talking about it before we came on the air. Octorara is really putting a nice stretch of play together. You know, it's funny. They, about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, their bugaboo was they couldn't finish games. In fact, even here, they had a lead the whole game against Spot, and they lose 51-50 within the last 5 seconds. They got things started down at Kennett, which I saw on a Saturday afternoon 2 weeks ago, and then since then, they've been gangbusters. I mean, they beat Elko, who's beating Donegal right now by 5 up in Myerstown. But, yeah, Octorara goes into Catholic tonight, wins by 8, which for whatever reason they seems to be their home court of sorts, I guess. I mean, if they're not hitting half-court shots and everything else there. But, no, I mean, Coach Lambert, he does such a great job. And he and I talk quite often. I'm like, Coach, you know I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you to get in because – you know, I just want people to understand how good Octorara can be in the league. And if they get that push into the league tournament, I think a lot of people are going to see how good that program can be. And, I mean, shoot, with this close, there's no reason to think they can't sneak in this year.
They actually played that game. They tipped that game early tonight with no JV game because of the weather, the looming weather here in the area. But, you know, you're right. And they always seem to come up with a late season charge, too. Like, you look at them, like, beginning of January, and they're sitting like at, you know, 5-7 or 5-8 or whatever. And then all of a sudden you look up at the end of February and it's like, wait a minute, how are they 13-9? You know, like how are they in the district tournament already? Like he does an amazing job down there, and hopefully they do somehow sneak into that LL tournament. Tonight's game is brought to you by Sable McKinney. Looking for a real estate agent? Call Sable McKinney. Let her help you sell your home. Schedule your appointment today at 717-715-7984. Leading scorers in the first half for Cocalico, it was Rios who had 6, I beg your pardon. 7 for Spangler, 4 for Whelan, and 4 for Stauffer. For Garden Spot, Tyler Martin had 7, Brendan Weaver had 7, 8 for Conrad off the bench, and 3 for Heisey, a pair for Conrad. And right away, it's Dylan Holt who gets things started in the second half with the first bucket, and it's 29-21 Garden Spot.
Fantastic two-man game to start things off. You know Coach Musk probably talked about that in the locker room. Let's get something easy. They got something easy.
Flinton, tough shot. Weaver the rebound. First 2 to 3 minutes of this third quarter going to be key for Cocalico, as Rios caught a little fire late in that second quarter, but it's been a slow night for him so far. Weaver on Stauffer, dishes it off, and Conrad will lay it up and in.
2 fantastic assists by Weaver to start this half off.
All of a sudden, it's a 10-point lead for Garden Spot. We're not even a minute gone here in the third.
And that's the thing about Spot, Eric, is, you know, they have this massive York College commit, and you would think everything would go through him And he is the big sword, but for them, if you look at the scores when they've won, it's really death by paper cuts. He's, maybe the leading scorer, but as you touched about at Solanco, he shared leading scoring honors. So, I mean, they really are a well-rounded team with a nice piece.
Yeah, Weaver is going to be an exceptional player at that level. I think he's got all the potential to be a very good player for York, as Whelan knocks down the 3, so that cuts it to 7.
Here again, though, right when you think Garden Spot's going to do something, Cocalico says, nah, we're going to hang around a little bit longer.
Conrad drives, no, and stop for the rebound. After the game, our post-game show will have player of the game honors, and maybe we'll get a coach from the winning team. We'll see as Rios drives, and that's hammered out of there by Conrad, but Conrad's going to pick up his second foul.
Going to the line yet again, another chance to score with the clock stopped. Cut this baby down to 5.
Rios on the season, 57 of 69 coming into play tonight. First points in the second half for him, he's got 7.
10 of 11 at the line against Donegal the other night.
2-point game, and remember, as Rios goes 1 for 2 that trip, they survived that 25-point quarter by Donegal. That's a Donegal team that's right in the mix of things as far as districts go, so every game is paramount for them as well. As Weaver gets the rebound off the miss. Step back 3 on the way. No, rebound is controlled by Spot for the moment. Tipped out of bounds. It'll stay with the Spartans with 6 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Got a foul here.
Inbound. Spot controls it as they look to extend the lead here. Weaver, little head fake, runs around the lane. Nice find underneath to Conrad, who lays it in. And Weaver's showing you he's not just an inside presence or a guy that can step outside. He's now handling the ball and distributing here in this third quarter.
This is now the third time I've seen Spot this year, Eric. This is far and away the best I think he's looked. Because he's not scoring necessarily. He's doing all the other things to get everybody else involved.
Heisey's going to get called for the foul. That'll be his second. Or rather, that is on Holt. That's his third. Heisey was in the middle there as well. Inbound pass goes to Whelan. Flinton, who's been extremely quiet in this game, does not have a point. Rios. Drive, finds Stauffer. Weaver might have
I thought so
travel.
too.
Yeah, forced to travel there, but it's going to get the foul called on him.
So one nice thing being down in this corner was right in front of us, no obstructed view. But of course we're wrong. It's a foul.
When you wear a headset, my man, 9 times out of 10, people think you are wrong. Stauffer misses the front end. He is 2 for 3 tonight at the line. Big one here, goes 0 for 2.
Got to take advantage of those, obviously. Could loom very large.
Quick the other way is Conrad on the baseline. Backing down, Whelan, and he lays it in again.
Great bully move right there by Mr. Conrad.
Conrad has 6 in the quarter. It's back to a 10-point lead as we're under 5 to go. Rios, Stauffer, back to Rios. Spangler and now Whelan. Whelan hands it off to Rios. They find Stauffer, Flinton, everybody touching the ball here for Cocalico. Flinton, Rios, back to Flinton. Thought about the 3, drives, hangs, fires, connects.
That's his game. Get in the lane, make things happen either for yourself or for your teammates. It's another deuce.
Gets in the board or in the book for the first time tonight. Flinton, Rios, back to Flinton. Thought about the 3, drives, hangs, fires, connects.
That's his.
Turnaround, no, and that's going to trickle out of bounds and go back to Cocalico with 4:11 to play in the quarter as Jace Conrad is back in for Garden Spot. The Hempfield tonight in control of Cedar Crest, so that's really going to put them in the driver's seat for Section 1.
It's funny, everybody in this league has kind of had a weird stretch, and I think when we look back on it, Garden Spot right here might have had the oddest of stretches in a good way. They beat Township, they beat Catholic, and they beat Octorara all within that week.
Good find underneath with Stauffer, who lays it in.
And I think that stretch, Eric, going back to the beginning of January, middle part of January, is what really got them over the hill and got them playing much better, obviously.
Conrad can't find it this time, but rebound's tracked down by Heisey. Holt giving him nice minutes tonight. Conrad drives. Conrad off balance. No. Heisey gets in there for the rebound. Turnaround from the baseline, too strong. Stauffer for the rebound with 3:27 to go in the quarter. Rios. Flinton. Flinton will penetrate again. Got tied up on the baseline. Stauffer. 3:10 to go in the quarter. 6-point margin for Garden Spot. Spangler will slow things down for Cocalico. Now he goes, bangs into Weaver. Weaver stood tall, looks down the floor, finds Conrad, outruns everybody, and he lays it in. Conrad's got 8 in the quarter, 10 for the game. It's back to an 8-point lead as we hit 2:46 to play in the third. Rios way downtown, short. Whelan had his hands on the rebound, but it's tipped out of there by Conrad, and that's going to be Conrad's third.
That's the thing. You don't want to take forced shots when you have an 8-point game. It's still totally right there. You don't want to get suckered into thinking that this hill is too far to climb, and you got to get everything back at once. Now, fortunately for Cocalico, they're able to prolong the possession here, and we'll see what they can get out of this.
2.5 to go in the third. Stauffer off the inbound, goes right to the bucket, too strong. Weaver down the floor. Weaver goes right around Whelan, and he's fouled. Off the inbound, goes right to the bucket, too strong. Weaver down the floor. Weaver goes right around Whelan, and he's fouled. Foul is on Whelan. That's his first, and Weaver at the line. First time tonight.
And like we said earlier, I'm looking up here at the board, Garden Spot scoring 8, 8, 3, 7. I mean, it's all so even, just like it's always been all year long. They don't have a perceived star who's going to go out and you can pencil them in for 20, which is fine. I mean, as long as you're getting solid contributions, that's all that really matters.
Second by Weaver, no, but Heisey the rebound. Great find underneath and laying it up. Too strong. There was Rohrball, but Garden Spot's going to keep it alive as Conrad gets it right near the sideline, and Nate Musselman's going to call a timeout. Weaver, no, but Heisey the rebound. Great find underneath and laying it up. Too strong. There was Rohrball, but Garden Spot's going to keep it alive as Conrad gets it right near the sideline. In counties, you can count on the attorneys of Busgen Davis Law Offices. Lebanon's most experienced legal team can help you in all areas of the law, including personal injury, family law, commercial and business representation, estate planning and administration, and simple or complex real estate transactions. Eric Thomas, Andy Herr with you here tonight, 38-29 Garden Spot. They have controlled this game from the tip until this point. Cocalico trying to hang around in there, and again, with both teams yet to play Manheim Central for the second time, this is a critical game as far as the section goes and who may get that second seed in the upcoming LL tournament from Section 3.
Which we didn't think so. 2 weeks ago, Manheim Central wins 11-0, and then they go 1-4 in their last league games, which, like we said at the top, doors wide open.
Offensive foul called on Spot with 2:09 to go in the third. It's on Jace Conrad. That's his first foul of the night as we come up on 2 to go in the third. Rios drives, and Weaver Boy, that was a late block by Weaver, just showing his athleticism. He stayed right with the play, and then his offhand is how he tipped that one out.
And the other thing, too, Eric, that the coaches talk about, don't swat it into the 17th row. Keep it there and see if you can get, steal a possession out of that, too.
Foul on Garden Spot here with 1:51 to go in the third. That's going to send Flint into the line for 3. Now they said no shot. And Wheeling gets called for the travel.
Coach Sigmund a little perplexed by that.
.130 coming up here on 1:30 to go.
Ball is not sticking for Spot.
Three-pointer on the way by Heisey is good.
See what happens when you move the ball around. You get open looks. Great job there by Heisey and Spot.
41-29, Garden Spot in front. Nash passes up the 3 opportunity as Hambright drives. No, rebound controlled by Spot. 1 minute to go in the third quarter. Weaver has it.
Weaver didn't block that one, but he essentially did.
Three-pointer fired by Conrad, no good. Cocalico could hold for the final shot. Whelan says no way and drains the 3.
Essentially did.
Three-pointer fired by Conrad, no good. Cocalico just kind of hanging around here a little bit. They just have not seemed to get past this point right here as Weaver drives, and the basket's going to count. And still have an opportunity. They wave the bucket off. They did. So no bucket as Stauffer's going to come back in. That foul was on Nash. That's his 3rd.
Boy.
Inbound's a mess as Heisey gets it back and he lays it in.
Heisey says, look what I found out of that mess.
11-point lead with 13 seconds to go in the third. Rios drives. Rios all the way off the window and in. 2 seconds left in that quarter. Martin scrambles, throws it up, and hits the glass. So a 9-point lead for Garden Spot going to the fourth quarter, 43-34. You're watching live coverage of this Section 3 matchup here on llhoops.com. Eric Thomas and Andy Herr with you tonight.
While we have a chance, I do want to make mention, I understand we have 2 very important watchers tonight in Tennessee, of all places, and I want to wish them a very happy Pig Suey. Mr. and Mrs. Sigmund checking in tonight from Tennessee, so I know they're hoping that their boys' team can turn this around in the fourth quarter, but just wanted to say hello to those very important folks.
Tonight's game is brought to you by Hearts Physical Therapy. Hearts Physical Therapy is a locally owned, independent outpatient physical therapy clinic with 5 convenient locations in Lancaster County. They specialize in orthopedic rehabilitation, aquatic therapy, post-surgery, sports injuries, and vestibular therapy. Unparalleled patient outcomes and an average Net Promoter Score of 95 reflect their unwavering commitment to their patients. It's your choice where to go for physical therapy. Experience the difference that Hearts Physical Therapy can make in your recovery. 8 minutes to go here from Garden Spot High School, and this Section 3 matchup between 2 6-11 teams. But again, as we have stressed throughout the night, a big matchup in terms of the section race and who's going to get that number 2 spot out of Section 3 when the upcoming LL tournament, as both teams still have Manheim Central to come. It'll be Central against Garden Spot on February 1st, and then a week later is when it'll be Cocalico's turn As Rios trying to start things with a three, grazes the front of the rim, and Stauffer grabs the rebound but turns it right over to Conrad.
Good set there coming out of the timeout. You know who they wanted to get the ball to. That was very obvious. Rios just couldn't quite make it, and now Garden Spot's going to play on with the lead.
By the way, we're hopeful to have coverage of almost the entire LL tournament. We will not have the play-in round as Conrad drives and scores to start the fourth, but we are hopeful to have quarterfinal games on Monday night. The semis will be the 16th. We'll definitely have semis for you, at least one of them. Hopefully both are at the same location. That would be fantastic. And if the LL's listening, put both at the same location, please. That makes the most sense. And then the title game is Friday night the 18th as Rios clings another three. And we will have coverage of both the girls and boys final on Thursday and Friday night. And then it's off to the district tournament. But that LL final last year was a lot of fun on that Saturday afternoon, and it'll be a Friday night normal crowd situation at Manheim Township, and that'll be a packed house no matter who is there.
We were talking before we came on. Can you imagine if Columbia's there?
Oh, my.
You got to line up right now, probably.
Conrad lays it in again. He's had a red-hot second half with 12 points, and it's a 13-point margin for Garden Spot.
He's had a couple of great bully moves right at the rim. Says, no, I'm going to take this spot from you and score on you.
Spangler hands it off to Stauffer, off balance. Basket counts, and a foul for the big guy.
I think they're going to call the foul before the shot, Eric, I think.
Seth Sigmund's arguing that. That's like the third time they've done that tonight. And outside of the one, I've thought continuation on two of them. Yeah, they are going to – they called this an offensive foul, it looks like.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they got Stauffer with an arm bar.
Well, it is number one on the hold list, but just a weird turn of events there is – and it looked like we got a technical somewhere. I don't know if that was assessed to Sigmund or what, but Conrad has made the free throw. I'm not really sure what just happened, but
I was looking at signals. I couldn't get a great read on it either. But either way, that puts a huge dent into that lead.
Yeah, we thought we had a foul and a three-point opportunity for Stauffer. They called an offensive foul on him. He is not the one that is on the board, though. The foul went to Rios. So that's his first. So it was away from the ball. There was continuation on it as Conrad, who made both free throws, misses the jumper, and then the ball's going to stay on the Garden Spot side with 6:06 to go. So then you had Sigmund arguing it. Somewhere there was a technical called. Conrad makes two free throws, and now Garden Spot's got the possession. The Cocalico foul that time is on Spangler. And some of the signals from the officiating crew tonight, just they don't sync up with what you're normally looking at or looking for from the official. In fact, they look like they counted one basket good on a three-point opportunity. It was not. So I'm not sure if something needs to be said about that, but that putback is in by Conrad again. 14 points in the second half, 16 for the game for Conrad. Flinton drives. Stauffer back to Flinton as we're down to 5:27 to go. Conrad, the second leading scorer on this team at 7 points a game. Remember, nobody on this starting five for Garden Spot averages double figures.
It's a communal effort is what you're saying.
It's worked extremely well tonight. Stauffer, as we come up on 5 to go in the game. Deep three by Spangler. No. Rebound into the hands of Conrad.
Eagles have gone rather chilly at the most inopportune of times here.
That they have. Heisey.
Yeah, I like this for Spot. Just don't need to force anything. Play with the lead.
Steiner, who is the only starter tonight that has not scored. He hits the deck but is fouled. So he'll shoot two. Fouls on Stauffer. That is now officially his second. Steiner will get a chance to finally get some points here tonight. Rattles the first one home. Or rather the second one home, so 52-34 Garden Spot. Four and a half to go here from Garden Spot High School. And stay tuned after the game. We'll have a player of the game interview as Flinton drives, and he banks that one in for a three-point play.
Nice job by Flinton. That's what we said all game long. Get into the lane, make things happen for either yourself or your teammates. Chance for three.
Fouls on Heisey. His second foul. Flinton no, and Conrad the rebound.
And another technical.
Yeah, Seth Sigmund got teed up. Looks like the now we're not sure who the first tech was on. So
yeah, so if the first technical was on Sigmund, he would have to sit down because if this was his second, he'd be DQ'd.
So I suspect that the first technical foul may have been on. Well, I don't know. I really don't know.
Someone probably said something on the floor, one of the kids.
Conrad makes the first. All kinds of confusion here tonight as Conrad makes the second. He's had a nice night too, 12 points off the bench. Sigmund's going to call a timeout, and he's going to make it a full one. Yeah, you know, if it wouldn't be for not being able to coach the next game, I would get my money's worth. And that's all I'll say about that. Tonight's game is brought to you by Spooky Nook Basketball, the leader for all your basketball needs. Everything from tournaments, leagues, camps, and personal training, all at Spooky Nook. He would not be allowed to coach the next game if he's ejected, much like a player. So I try hard to keep it between the navigational beacons when it comes to officiating because they have the hardest job of anybody in this gym tonight. Everybody's constantly looking at them. Everybody is focused on them. Everybody wants to blame them when their team loses. And 9 times out of 10, it's not their fault that the team loses. But there have been some calls here tonight that if I was Seth Sigmund, I would not be as reserved as he just was when he got teed up.
No, you're right, E.T. I couldn't say it any better. I mean, you hear on social media all the time just how these overzealous parents are letting them have it, so to speak. But, I mean, you're right. At the same time, if you're going to do the assignment needs to be clear and concise so everyone knows what you're calling. And, yeah, to your point, there's been some signals that I haven't quite seen or I don't know.
The official is still talking to Sigmund. You can see it there on the left side of your screen. Seth will have to take a seat, it looks like. And they will get a chair for him, so he will have to sit the next 4:11. Doesn't strike me as a guy that would be verbally aggressive. He's one of the quietest coaches that we deal with.
One of his few technicals I saw in a summer league game at the West Reading Summer League. He wanted to know what an illegal screen was, and the official didn't like his tone, I guess, and said, "No, coach, I'm not going to explain it. I'm just going to tee you up." So maybe it's just me.
How do you get a technical foul in a summer league game?
It's high stakes, Eric. Summer.
Flinton fires, and that one's no good as Conrad gets the rebound. 3:50 to go. It is an 18-point lead right now for Garden Spot. They are running away with this thing tonight. Heisey, and he is fouled from behind by Nash. That'll be Bryce's fourth. By the way, Seth Sigmund has risen from the bench, in case you're wondering. You're right, though. It's typically when you get the 1, they tell you that you have to sit. They brought the chair up for him. I don't think he really cares at this point. I know I wouldn't. There's so much made about all the things that get yelled at these officials, and I do understand that they have the toughest job on the floor, but I'm still scratching my head on a couple of these things here tonight. Not that it really, in the big picture, directly impacts the game as Nash scores and is fouled. You know, Spot's already got the lead. It's not like, you know, a three-point opportunity is going to make it, you know, it's going to take it maybe from 18 to 15 at some point, but I'm just, some of the things I got to scratch my head at tonight. I'm chalk it up to an off night, I guess, but Nash misses the free throw attempt. Rebound controlled by Spot. 3:25 to play. 54-38. Garden Spot's going to go to 7-11, barring Reggie Miller walking through the door here in the next couple of minutes. Good ball moving by the Spartans. Up next, it is Mannheim Central. Huge showdown.
Enormous game.
As far as Section 3 goes in the race to get into the LL tournament, which starts quarterfinals anyway, or Monday the 14th. We got the play-in round before that, the Friday before that.
Bit of a game within the game there where you have Spot coming off 2 straight wins in Central, like we said. If not in a full-fledged tailspin, certainly a big funk right now.
For Cocalico next, it'll be Solanco. Solanco beat Cocalico early in the season, 57-43, so they'll try to get revenge on Solanco in that one.
One of the Mules' only 2 wins this season,
That's
ironically.
Right. Yep. And our next game, our final regular season broadcast, will come your way next Friday night from the Falcon Cage as Cedar Crest, who was in a tussle tonight with Hempfield and not faring well in that game, will take on McCaskey. And that game, really depending on what Cedar Crest does, the rest of the way, as let's take a look at what the Falcons have coming up. Hempfield tonight, and that did not go well for the Falcons, but their next game will be Penn Manor. Hempfield won that game tonight, 61-44 final. McCaskey was sitting at 3-6 in the standings, and they played Penn Manor tonight. They have Susquehanna Township tomorrow.
I think if we're looking at Crest this year, Eric, to be honest, they're playing with a bit of house money this year. I think in their grand scheme of things, they're a little bit more ahead of schedule than what they thought. They're so young. I call them the baby Falcons. They start 3-4 sophomores. Talking to Coach Smith, he's really, really bullish on this group moving forward, but here they are this year.
On their way, off balance. Shot by Ty Custer, no good, as Cocalico's got some of its backups in. Sam Steffi gets his first 2 points of the night with 2.5 to go. It's a 14-point lead. McCaskey, by the way, Penn Manor tonight, Susquehanna Township tomorrow. They got Central York and then the game with Crest. So, you know, we're so used to seeing teams like Harrisburg, McCaskey, York, Central York. None of those teams are in the mix as far as 6A goes, in districts anyway. Now, as far as, again, the LL tournament goes, McCaskey, Cedar Crest, the big one, depending on what happens with the Penn Manor game tonight, we'll see. But
Yeah, you're right. It is such a odd year. You can pretty well bank on Harrisburg for sure. York, pretty much so.
Harrisburg's 4-13 right now. As Conrad leans in. No, and Weaver, the putback, but there's a travel. The thing about McCaskey, too, every time they go to Cedar Crest, that game always something nutty ends up happening in that game. That is such a I mean, any game in Section 1's a robbery, but, I mean, I've been there for buzzer beaters, for overtime games. Something crazy always happens when those two hook up. So,
and over the last decade, it has been the matchup of the league in general.
Yep. Yeah, so there's your tease for next Friday night.
And you have that Lebanon and Lancaster flair.
That's true. That's true. As aggressive move to the bucket, and that is swatted out of there by Derek Lambert. 80 seconds to go in this one. 14-point lead for Garden Spot. And another foul. Get this all sorted out here is Mario Arroyo Lopez, the 6'3 junior, will shoot for Garden Spot. And misses the first. Handicap the LL tournament for us here. Give me the three teams you think right now would be the favorite to win this thing.
Why you got to do that to me? No,
because there's 1:15 to go and a 14-point game.
No, you got to start off with Columbia and LS, the two unbeatens. We talked about Hempfield a lot. It seems odd this year to say that a team from Section 3 and Section 5 have a legitimate shot. But
I don't know how you stop Columbia. I just don't know how you stop them right now.
That's the whole thing. They're so much longer than you would think for a Section 5 team. Now, granted, I saw them the night they played Peckway, and they scored 101 points. So
that's still in 32 minutes, though, and a running clock.
Right, correct. No, they're built for this, and we've talked about their schedule on all the shows we've done. If we can get an LS Columbia final or semi or somewhere, we'd be so blessed to see that.
Now, it would be the final, and you would hope at that point, obviously LS has got to stay healthy because they've got a couple of minor issues right now, but you would hope, too, if we could somehow get them there to the final undefeated both.
Right.
Oh, my.
Right.
Yeah, I honestly, with all due respect to the other teams in this league, and, I'm sure guys like Chris Christensen is going to hear this, and Matt Johns will hear it, or whoever, but there's one team I do not want to play at all in this league, and that is Columbia right now.
Correct.
I wouldn't want to see them in any kind of one and done. Doesn't matter if you're living to fight another day for districts. I don't want to see them in any kind of elimination situation at all. That team is the old adage about just rolling the ball out there on the floor. They put the ball on the floor, and they do not stop until the clock hits triple zeros.
And it's pretty remarkable, too, if we're talking about a team like Columbia to possibly win the league. I've said this before. I think you can pretty much mail them the District 3 3A trophy at this point.
No question about that.
And then after that, the whole thing with – and you know this probably better than I do, but the PA field, there's a lot of those charters that are very small schools in the 3A ranks and things like that. So not really sure where they stack up in that regard, but this is by far the best Columbia team I've seen that will enter the state playoffs.
It's going to be interesting with them from the standpoint that if they get to the state tournament undefeated, at that point you have no room for error.
Right.
You cannot lose a game at that point. So, what happens at that point when they get on a neutral court, assuming we're going to have neutral courts, for the state tournament, what happens when you get on the neutral court and it's a 2-point game with, a minute and a half to go?
And if it's anywhere close, Columbia will travel. They will travel.
Garden Spot's going to win this one tonight. We get a couple of fouls here at the end of the game as we close out with 8.1 to go. Ryan Conrad will be our player of the game tonight. 14 points in the second half for Conrad.
But you're right, it is weird. We're not talking about Warwick. We're not talking about Lebanon. But this goes, I think to what I said at the beginning of the show that Dell and I did. The depth in this league is so much better than what it's been before. Do we have a superpower? Not necessarily, or at least not in the big school ranks, but the depth in this league is just so much better than it's been.
Jumper at the buzzer is going to fall for Ty Custer. That's how this one's going to end. 54-43. It is Garden Spot a winner tonight over Cocalico. The Spartans go to 6-11. They up their record to 5-5 in Section 3. Big-time showdown with Manheim Central coming up on the 1st. And that'll be for the inside track on the 2 spot in the section. And possibly a berth in the LL tournament coming up later in February. We're going to get Ryan Conrad over here for some post-game comments. Final scoring numbers tonight for Garden Spot. Conrad leads with 16. Jace Conrad off the bench with 12. 8 for Heisey, 7 for Martin. Also 8 for Weaver. A deuce for Holt and a point for Luke Steiner. For Cocalico, Tate Whelan with 10. Trey Rios tonight with 8. Nick Spangler with 7. 6 for Jared Stauffer. A deuce each for Flinton, Steffi, and Ty Custer. For Cocalico. Cocalico falls to 6-12 overall, and they go to 3-6 in Section 3 play. As Ryan Conrad is going to join us here tonight. You come on over and have a seat. Yep, we'll get Andy out of the way. Nice job tonight, young man.
Thank you.
Let's talk about your second half a little bit. You had 2 points at halftime and 14 in the second half. What was it about the second half that got you going?
Yeah, well, going in the second half, I knew we would have to score more inside. We knew they'd run a zone, so getting me the ball inside would really be able to, because I knew I was going to have mismatches, whoever was guarding me, and they just told me to attack the rim because I'm good with either hand, so that was my game plan.
Brendan was really good inside early in the game, but he starts dishing the ball out in the second half, too, and he found you a couple of times. How good is it when you can have your big guy step out and actually handle the ball and then find you guys instead of wanting to score all the time? He wants to get you guys involved.
Oh, man, it's great. We know he's such a great playmaker, so we try to get him the ball at the elbow, and he can either go left, and then when he gets doubled, he just dishes off to me. It's such a great game plan.
You know, too, obviously, having played them before and played them for years, but Trey Rios can light it up at any point. Had a big game a couple nights ago. You guys clamped down on him early. You really didn't allow him to get any kind of space for a shot. How much of that was the game plan tonight to make sure that he didn't go off early in this game?
Oh, man, it was the whole idea. We were basically running a defense where we would have one guy go and double him whenever the pick and roll would happen to make sure he doesn't get any open shots because we know he can light it up from anywhere.
I know districts is kind of a dream right now. You guys have a lot of ground to make up if you're going to do that, but you can still get a berth in the LL tournament, and you have a big one with Manheim Central coming up on February 1st. So really your postseason, if you're going to make the LL tournament, hinges on that game. How big is that for you guys, and how important would it be for this team to get into some kind of postseason, which would be the LL tournament?
Yeah, that's a do-or-die game. That's a must-win, especially for us seniors because it's our last go at this, and we really want to add extra games to our season. So that's our plan.
Congratulations on a big win tonight. Yep, that's Ryan Conrad. 16 points here tonight to lead Garden Spot. They win it tonight over Cocalico, 54-43. They go to 7-11 overall and 5-5 in section play. And their big one coming up on the 1st against Manheim Central to possibly determine who's going to go to the LL tournament. That's going to do it for our coverage here tonight. For my partner Andy Herr, for all of us here with LLHoops.com, we'll talk to you next Friday night as we head over to Cedar Crest. It'll be Cedar Crest and Lancaster McCaskey. Our final regular season game of the year comes your way at 7:30 next Friday night. We'll talk to you then. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the conference championship games in football, and we'll see you next Friday. Have a great weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.